What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. Let's kick things off with the latest reactions surrounding the newly announced main event for UFC Seattle involving Israel Adesanya and Joe Pyfer. Following Dana White's live stream last night where the fight was officially revealed, both fighters quickly responded across social media. Right after the announcement went live, Israel Adesanya took to X and posted a short message saying, here we go again, along with a promotional video teasing the matchup. Joe Pyfer also reacted shortly after, sharing his thoughts on Instagram. In his post, Pyfer expressed gratitude for the opportunity, calling it a blessing to compete against what he described as one of the greatest middleweights of all time. He added that hard work is coming, emphasized self-belief and faith, and said he's ready to seize the moment. Pyfer closed the message with confidence, making it clear he's fully committed to the challenge ahead. As expected, the MMA community's reaction to this fight announcement has been mixed. Some fans are excited, while others are unsure about the matchup. That said, the mixed response shouldn't come as a huge surprise. Just a few weeks ago, Adesanya made it clear that he's no longer chasing titles and is instead focused on fighting freely. He explained that belts are no longer his priority, noting that he already has championship belts at home and simply wants to enjoy fighting again. Adesanya mentioned that while he still performed well during his title defenses, he now wants to take more risks and fight the way he did on his rise to the top. He even referenced moments where he attempted risky techniques in earlier fights and said he wants to bring that approach back. With all that in mind, this matchup aligns with the mindset he's publicly shared. That being said, fans remain divided, so let us know what you think about this fight. Following that announcement, another major fight was revealed. According to Viana, Paulo Costa is moving up to the light heavyweight division and is scheduled to face Azamat Murzakanov on April 11th at UFC 327. The event is set to take place at the Kaseya Center in Miami. Interestingly, before the official announcement, Murzakanov believed Dana White's live stream would be about their fight, but that turned out not to be the case. Once the matchup was confirmed, both fighters reacted online. Paulo Costa responded on X with a post joking about the move to light heavyweight, saying he was going to take all the secret juice available, followed by another post referencing bulking season along with a photo showing his current physique. Murzakanov, on the other hand, kept things short and direct, posting that he's coming to Miami to take care of business. Looking at the matchup itself, Costa is coming off a win over Roman Kopylov back in July. He was previously scheduled to fight Bruno Ferreira on March 7th, but withdrew from that bout. Murzakanov has been on a strong run, remaining undefeated in the UFC with a perfect record in the promotion and an unblemished professional record overall. His most recent appearance came at UFC 321, where he scored an impressive knockout over Aleksandar Rakic. With this fight now set, the question becomes whether Costa can successfully make the transition to light heavyweight against such a dangerous opponent. Let us know who you see winning this one. Moving on, with UFC 324 just over a week away, things are starting to heat up as fighters begin their media rounds. Paddy Pimblett recently spoke with TNT Sports and shared his thoughts on his upcoming fight against Justin Gaethje. During the interview, Pimblett stated that he plans to keep the fight standing and believes there's already a blueprint for beating Gaethje, pointing to Max Holloway's performance as an example. Pimblett said that many people underestimate his striking and assume he'll rely on takedowns, but he pushed back on that narrative. He referenced his fight with Michael Chandler, saying he was able to land effectively on the feet. Pimblett acknowledged that MMA math doesn't always apply, but he expressed confidence in his game plan and predicted a finish within 3 rounds. Justin Gaethje also spoke with TNT Sports around the same time, addressing past comments he made about potentially retiring. Gaethje clarified that those statements were made in an emotional moment. He explained that fighters are emotional by nature and tend to take things personally, especially at the highest level of competition. Gaethje said he felt he had earned certain opportunities and was trying to stand up for himself at the time. Later in the interview, he shared that he's hoping Ilia Topuria moves up in weight so that Gaethje can face Max Holloway on the proposed White House card. He said he'd like to fight Holloway for both the BMF title and the championship if everything lines up. That naturally raises questions about where Arman Tsarukyan fits into the picture. If Gaethje gets his wish and fights Holloway, it could mean a longer wait for Tsarukyan to receive a title shot. It remains to be seen how the UFC will handle that situation moving forward. Gaethje also touched on retirement again in a separate conversation, where he discussed how many wars he has left. When asked directly, he said that if he were to get knocked out again, he would likely walk away from the sport. Gaethje explained that earlier in his career he had never been put to sleep, but now, at 37 years old, another knockout loss would likely signal the end. He said that if this had happened earlier in his career, it might be a different story, but at this stage, he views himself as being closer to the end than the beginning. Next up, there's an update regarding Dricus du Plessis. He's been inactive since his loss to Khamzat Chimaev last August, but a potential next fight may be on the horizon. UFC light heavyweight Tuco Taco spoke with Cage Chronicles and suggested that a matchup involving du Plessis could be coming soon. Tacos mentioned that he's hearing positive things but acknowledged how quickly plans can change in the sport due to injuries and matchmaking adjustments. He also expressed hope that du Plessis would be present in Seattle, noting that du Plessis wants to make things right and has unfinished business, adding to the speculation. Brendan Allen recently posted that he'll be fighting in April and said he's ready to make his case as the next title challenger. With that in mind, it's possible the UFC could book du Plessis against Allen in a #1 contender fight at middleweight. Meanwhile, Khamzat Chimaev has been calling out Alex Pereira for a potential light heavyweight matchup, which could be booked for the White House card. If that happens, it could leave the middleweight title picture open for the winner of Allen versus du Plessis. Regardless of how things shake out, fans are already debating whether either Allen or du Plessis could defeat Chimaev. There were also several UFC-related updates announced recently. It was revealed that UFC 324 will feature a multi-camera viewing option, allowing fans to choose between different camera angles during fights. This gives viewers more control over how they watch the action, which could significantly change the viewing experience depending on fan feedback. Another fight announcement involves Marlon Chito Vera, who is set to return against David Martinez at UFC Mexico. Vera last fought Ayman Zahabi, losing by decision, and now looks to bounce back. Martinez enters the fight riding a 9-fight winning streak and will be aiming to make it 10 in a row. In another matchup, according to Marcel Dorff, Diony Barbosa is scheduled to face Melissa Gatto on April 4th. Barbosa is coming off a loss while Gatto enters the fight following a recent win. It's an interesting matchup that has fans debating potential outcomes. On the business side, Paramount Plus has Anno. UNC to price increase across all subscription tiers ahead of UFC 324. The Essential monthly plan has gone up by $1, as has the Premium option. Annual plans also saw a noticeable increase. While many fans expected a price hike after Paramount secured UFC rights, it's still disappointing for some subscribers. That said, many still view it as better value compared to paying for individual pay-per-view events. Dana White also revealed that the UFC Apex has officially been renamed the Meta Apex following a new multi-year deal with Meta. The venue, which hosts the Contender Series Select Fight Nights, Zuffa Boxing, and UFC BJJ, will now carry the new branding moving forward. Arman Sarukian recently shared a skit online, adding a lighter moment to the week's news cycle. Meanwhile, Dana White continued discussing his plans for Zuffa Boxing as the promotion prepares to launch on Paramount Plus. White reiterated that he wants to apply the UFC's business model to boxing, emphasizing competitive matchmaking and eliminating what he sees as barriers within the sport. He said his goal is for the best to fight the best and to give meaning to undefeated records by ensuring fighters face real competition. White's comments sparked plenty of online discussion, especially given ongoing conversations around the Muhammad Ali American Boxing Revival Act. Critics have raised concerns that these changes could impact fighter pay long-term. Zuffa Boxing's first event is scheduled for January 23rd at the UFC Apex in Las Vegas, with Callum Walsh facing Carlos Ocampo in the main event. White described Ocampo as a seasoned veteran whose only losses came in title fights and highlighted the matchup as a strong test for the undefeated Walsh. Jorge Masvidal also shared thoughts on his dream matchup, saying that a fight against Canelo Alvarez during his championship run would have been his ideal scenario, even acknowledging the skill gap while emphasizing that anything can happen in a fight. Finally, Dana White faced backlash following recent fight announcements. Many fans criticized the way announcements are now being handled, particularly the use of informal Instagram lives. Several community members voiced frustration, saying the UFC no longer puts effort into promoting major fights and that the product feels watered down due to the number of events. Opinions range from disappointment to outright criticism of leadership, with fans debating whether the current approach hurts the sport's long-term appeal. That wraps up today's update. Make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, and we'll see you in the next one.